Hello everybody and welcome to episode 5 of Non-League Legends. My name is Tom and today we'll be playing an FA Cup first round match against an unknown opponent. So I'm not going to say who they are until we've gone through all the games that we've played since you were last with me, which was the home draw against our rivals Chelsea City. I'm just showing you the squad dynamics screen. As you can see, we've got average team cohesion. It was very poor to start with, I think mainly because all the players were brand new when they actually came into the club, and it's taken a while for them to blend together and all that sort of stuff. The atmosphere is currently average. At the moment, we've had slightly better dressing room atmospheres, mainly because we've had better runs early on in the season, but we've got very good managerial support, which is absolutely important. And if you want to have a look at the hierarchy, this is where it currently stands. We've got 3 high influential players and several influential players, and then the rest of them are just others at the moment. No team leaders currently right now in the squad. So without further ado, let's take you through what's been happening in the recent games. So up next was an away match against bottom of the table Hampton and Richmond, and as you can see, we once again blew a 1-0 lead like we did in the last game. Byron Lawrence scoring a penalty, but then Danilo Orsi-Dandolmo managing to get an equaliser for the league's bottom side to steal a point away from us. It was really frustrating that we weren't able to get ourselves get a win out of this, especially after the disappointment from the previous game. Yeah, once again, not clinical enough. Richardson was playing instead of Akinwande, and I thought we were okay based off the substitutions, and of course, we couldn't score a second goal, and Hampton and Richmond made us pay for it. Up next, we had our FA Cup fourth qualifying round match away against Kettering Town of the National League North. As you can see, a very different game to what we were used to the last few games. Went 2-0 down thanks to goals from Marcus Kelly and Okira Simmons, and only really started pulling stuff back once we made some substitutions. So Bonnet Johnson managed to pull one back after 73 minutes. And then Thomas Richardson, the super sub, began scoring the equaliser in the 94th minute. It was actually the 94th minute, especially with so it was within the allocated stoppage time that was available to us. So we didn't really rob Kettering of a win. But yeah, it meant that we ended up drawing this game and we ended up going into the hat for the first round. But as you know, we do end up winning the replay, but we'll show you that in a sec. But what this also did was cause a few fixture problems. So following on from that FA Cup match, we ended up playing Dulwich Hamlet on Monday night, 2 days after we just played that FA Cup match. So pretty much the vast majority of the team was absolutely exhausted. I think Dulwich Hamlet were in the same boat as us, but I think the fact that we'd had players tired and all that sort of stuff affected our performances, as again, the run of draws continued and we drew against another team that was near the bottom of the league. Lewis White this time opening the scoring for Dulwich Hamlet, and then Akinwande coming off the bench to score and equalise to ensure that we didn't lose the game at least. But it's again another 2 points dropped against a team that was struggling to near the bottom of the table. It's really frustrating that we can't put these lower teams away, and it's costing us a lot of points. But thankfully, the run of draws finally ended with us winning the replay in the against Kettering. As you can see, completely different sort of game. This time, we're the ones that take a 2-goal lead, thanks to Femi Akinwande. Okira Simmons, who scored in the first game, scored before half-time, so I thought, here we go, they're going to come back on and do what we did to them. Thankfully, though, Adenuga Cole added a third before Charlie Wakefield scored a very scrappy goal that we conceded right at the end of the game, and it was one of those where ball comes into the box, keeper completely misses it, and then he just slides it in with no one else around him, and constantly sliding it in. In fact, let's actually see if I can show you the goal from a different angle. Okay, so it comes from a free kick, and it goes into the box. Beasley heads it on. Johnson completely misjudges it, and then Wakefield's there just to slide it in, and no one was there tracking the run, and he was able to get the goal. Thankfully, though, it didn't result in the game going to extra time and penalties because we already had an extra goal advantage. So that was fortunate, to say the least, that goal didn't result in an extra 30 minutes being played. So after we won in the FA Cup, we then played Chippenham Town and we won 2-0. They also had some problems with fixture congestion and then had a similar issue where they drew the first game, and that's resulted in a replay. But unfortunately for them, their replay got postponed, so they then had to move that game a few days later to the Sunday, which meant this game got moved from the Saturday weekend to the following Tuesday, and therefore they had less rest than what we did. So they were really struggling for fitness, and we took advantage of that, getting the 2-0 win. Again, dominating the stats. We can't seem to get a few more goals that I'd like to have on the list of this scoreline. But thankfully, it's 3 points right there, and we ended the little draw run. And that did result in us going unbeaten in October, but sadly, we start November with a home defeat against Tunbridge Angels. And as you can see, we conceded a goal very late on, Jared Small, in the 95th minute, when there was supposed to be only 4 minutes of added time. So I was very annoyed about that goal even being out, the game actually carrying on, and the goal being allowed, which was that made me fuming. But also what made me fuming was the fact that we couldn't score again against a team and break down a team that was struggling near the bottom of the table. It's again a consistent trend which I can't seem to be I'm not able to fix right now. And it's I don't know whether it's to do with the fact we haven't got that much depth, and my hands are tied with the fact that we've got no budget and all that sort of stuff, but it's just annoying that we can't seem to get these consistent performances out on a regular basis and get more victories, and it's just costing us points left, right, and centre. So as a result of these extra draws that we seem to be getting, we have dropped slightly in the table down to 6th place, and also that loss has meant that we are only 2 points above the 8th place Slough in the playoffs, but we're also now 9 points behind first place Bath. And so it looks like we were really in a battle with likes of Billericay, Wealdstone and Dorking when it comes to playoff positions. I think Bath are a bit too far away from us right now with 18 games gone. But the league isn't what we're going to be focusing on now. Today we're going to be focusing on the FA Cup. So our FA Cup first round tie is against league opposition in Scunthorpe United, and it's also away, which is absolutely fantastic for us in terms of revenue. May make the tie a little bit hard for us to win, but we're not expected to win anyways, especially the fact that our opponents, Scunthorpe, are a mid-table League 2 side currently. They are 4 points clear of the relegation zone right now, and it seems like they have started getting into form based off the fact that they've had a nice little unbeaten run going there. Also, for those of you who like nicknames of football teams, it's actually the Iron versus the Iron. So it's going to be the battle between which Iron is better than the other. So this is our team that we're going to be setting out to play against Scunthorpe. In goal we have Johnson, a back four of James, Hutchings, Clark and Green. Unfortunately, Kieran Clements is suspended. That's why Clark is playing. We've got a midfield three of Lawrence, Ray and Donovan. That doesn't change. Cole's playing on the right-hand side because, unfortunately, Bonnet Johnson picked up an injury and he's been out for the last couple of weeks. Bansal on the left with Akinwande up front. And on the bench, we've got our reserve goalkeeper Phillips, Saunders, Thistlethwaite, Folks, Kirkpatrick, Richardson, and Mills. So without further ado, let's get into the game. We're going with a defensive setup because we are away from home against a team vastly better than us. Okay, so it's a 4-2-3-1 formation from the Scunthorpe team. I do recognise quite a few of their players on their side. I'm not going to point any of them out in case it's bad luck. Let's try our best with the opposition instructions, though. Let's see what we can do right now. Okay, here we go with the team talk. Let's go for a passionate... I'm going to say this to see if that will do anything, because I want to cause a cup set. I would like to cause a cup set, but if it's not possible, then it's not the end of the world. But we're going to get a nice set of whop of cash anyway. So it looks like a couple of players are motivated from the positional team talks as we now kick off the game. And I forgot to change the my what's it called into... oops. I forgot to change my view to be 2D Classic. I like 2D Classic primarily because it shows me what sort of areas are actually... available space-wise and how the shape is looking with the formation and that sort of stuff. So that's why we're doing it in 2D Classic and not in the whole 3D rendering director's cut. Akinwande on this right-hand side, he's got a bit of space to work with here. He's running at the number 6 for Scunthorpe. He's gone past him, though, and takes a shot. Eastwood makes a save, though, and the first chance of the game goes to us inside 2 minutes, which is fantastic. Positive start here from us, despite us going defensive, as a foul is caused by Cole on Hamill. Free kick just inside our own half. Ball up towards Proctor, and he cannot control it, and Johnson is able to hold the ball very nicely there. He clears the ball upfield up towards Banton on this left-hand side. He's got 3 players closing in on down. Number 4 for Scunthorpe is right with him. Ball in towards Akinwande, who just nods it on, and unfortunately there's no one that's not on target, and there's no one there to follow up. Throw-in from the left-hand side. I changed the throwing instructions, so now Green is taking the throw-in. Akinwande back to Green. Ball in towards the box, but it's dealt with by the Scunthorpe players, and they might have a break on us here. Hamill running up towards Proctor, who goes in between our two defenders, has a chance, but he's missed. That is a big miss from the Scunthorpe. They should really have scored from that opportunity there. Right, London in midfield plays the ball up forwards towards Proctor and shoots, and Johnson is able to make a nice save, and it goes out for a corner for the home team. Scunthorpe, we are still 0-0 at the moment. We're doing very well so far. Looks like we might have an opportunity for a replay, but there's still a long way to go as Butler has a chance inside the box. He's played it out to Brown, back to Butler inside the penalty area. Tame shot though, and Johnson's able to hold on to it. Okay, it's half time, and we've managed to survive the first 45 minutes without conceding a goal. So as it stands right now, we are still in the cup, and we still have an opportunity to potentially go through it if we get a lucky goal. Nothing. Scotland, we didn't really do too much in to threaten us so far, and I'm going to say praise the performances so far, especially as the fact that we are the underdogs and away from home. So yeah, everyone seems happy. I don't need to make any changes at the moment. They're the ones that have to come and try and beat us. They're the ones that are the higher team in terms of the league, in terms of the places on the football league ladder. So yeah, we're just got to keep doing what we're doing, and maybe we get a replay out of this. Hamill receives the ball from the Eastwood kick, but we cut it out there, but we weren't able to take advantage of that. Back to Hamill on this left-hand side. Slater, back to Butler, ball over the top towards Proctor, but Hutchins is able to head it away from Proctor as the ball's played forward again. Nodded down, a bit of head tennis here going on here. Looks like Scunthorpe playing a nice few passes. Ball forward towards Proctor again. He's got the better of Clark, unfortunately. Johnson, though, bails out our defender, and he's able to, it's still 0-0 after 51 minutes. Throwing from our side, Akinwande to Cole, taking on number 27, back to James, puts the ball in, but it's deflected, and Hallam now has an opportunity. It's played forward, but there's absolutely no one there for Scunthorpe to run onto that, and Johnson has all the time in the world to do what he wants, and he passes it up to Green. Perhaps we have an opportunity here. Plays the ball forward up towards Akinwande, who might have beaten number 26 here for pace, and he has done. Saved by Eastwood, though, and that was an opportunity for us to grab a shock lead inside the hour, actually, and that would have been a real cat amongst the pigeons. I mean, the stats are showing very, very similar here in terms of we are competing with the League Two side at the moment. Same number of shots, same number on target. We have slightly more possession. They've had the extra clear cut chance, so I will say they are just edging it at the moment. Right, Clark takes the ball from for Scunthorpe inside their own half. Colclough plays the ball across to Hallam, and it's Hamill now on this left-hand side. He might play it forward again. Hallam, back to Hamill. It's hard to say those two names in a row. Hamill's now running at our defence. He's getting past here. Hallam, nice ball to Miller, and there's the goal for Scunthorpe. George Miller with his second goal of the season. It is 1-0 Scunthorpe. I think he's a substitute actually for them. Inside, and on the 67th minute, they are now the league side are now ahead on us, and it's a bit of a shame, especially it was nice, but it was nice play there and a nice goal and finish from the Scunthorpe striker. In fact, I was actually just about to make some alterations in terms of the personnel on the pitch. It seems like Akinwande hasn't had the greatest of games, so I'm going to take him off and bring on Richardson just because he's a little bit fitter at this particular moment in time. Donovan's going to come off as well. Ooh, actually, it's difficult to say because I'm going to go for Folks there, I think, and maybe switch Lawrence and Folks around. Yeah, there we go. That will work, I think. And we might go balance just to see what actually happens, and maybe potentially we could grab a very unlikely equaliser now that we are 1-0 down with less than 20 minutes or so remaining. Ball's played up towards Richardson. Scunthorpe will now probably assert their authority as James misses the ball completely. Hamill has a chance. Johnson with a nice save. Green clears it, though, thankfully. And there's no Scunthorpe player there to tap in a rebound, as Scunthorpe will now have a corner. Banton clears it away, only as far as Brown, who is trying to get it back, and it's now gone. I think the attack's sort of ran away. Oh, as peaked out, but we have given them a free kick. Right, we'll make our final change here. Banton's being pressurised by the feedback. For some reason I said demand more, and I probably should have never said that, especially against a team that's much better than us. But I thought perhaps they could give me one last effort, so hopefully they can potentially grab a goal. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna be the case as Mills comes on for Banton. Throw in for Scunthorpe on the near side to us from a manager's position. Hallam ball in towards Hamill, and Johnson just about tips it over, and it still remains just a one goal game. We are doing very well to keep it to just 1-0 against the League Two side here. Hamill plays the ball in, Miller's there, and as I say that, they score the second, and that is tie signed, sealed, and delivered for Scunthorpe. They're going to be off on their way to round 2, which good for them. I mean, we've done well to even get this far into the first round. We were only expected to reach the 4th qualifying round, so to even have an opportunity to play against a league opposition is nice. That was a very good header from Miller. He was completely wide open, and we couldn't do anything about that. And yeah, it's now 2-0 as we now have a throw-in on the far side this time in towards Richardson, who's lost the ball to Butler, and it looks like they might have another opportunity to score. Butler plays it back to Brown. Clark wins it though, and Fox is now going to play a ball forward up towards Richardson. He can't win the header though, unfortunately. Cole tries to get past number 28, may put a ball in, he has done. Clark clears it, only as far as Mills, and unfortunately Mills can't put the ball on target, and it's still 2-0. James with a nice tackle on Hamill. That's very good. He's had a very good performance here, despite the result as the scoreline at the moment. Richardson plays the ball to Mills, up towards Ray. It's a chance, but it's shot straight at Mr. Eastwood. It's not the same. It's not Clint. Sadly, it's some guy with a forename starting with a J. I can't use my words at the moment. Davenport ball in towards Hamill. Johnson with a nice save, and it's going to stay at 2-0. I think with as we tick down towards the end of injury time, and it's going to be 2-0. Are they going to blow the whistle yet? No, not just yet. We've got 5 seconds to go. And there we go. That is the final result. 2-0 defeat thanks to 2 goals from the sub George Miller. Not the end of the world for us, the fact that we lost, but we tried our absolute best. We held out for over an hour, and we just came up short when it came to a replay. But that's our FA Cup journey out. We still have the FA Trophy to consider though, so we can potentially get some money from that, and that will be absolutely fantastic if we do. Okay, in terms of what game we should do next, I'm tempted to do one around the Christmas period, probably like the New Year's Day game against Hemel Hempstead. Gets us a good number of games under our belts. I don't know when the FA Trophy actually hits though. When it comes to, I think it must hit between the 7th and the 14th because there's a gap between the Wealdstone and the Weymouth game right there. So it probably is. That's where the first round match goes in if you get through in the 3rd qualifying round. But we have to obviously get through that first. So we've got the rest of November we'll play, and we'll probably do Wealdstone if we play in the FA Trophy, Weymouth. Potentially could do Slough or even have it Waterloo because you guys didn't see them. We played Weymouth on the opening day of the season. That's why we're not going to pick them. So it could be one of these 3 games that comes up, either the Boxing Day game against Slough or the home game against Hemel Hempstead, or even the home game against Bath, to be honest. I mean, Bath might be a bit too far away from us and a bit higher quality, so I might go for actually Hemel Hempstead or Slough because of the fact that it's on Boxing Day on New Year's Day. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know we didn't get to the cup set that I wanted, but we got some money out of that. That was the main goal, and we got further in the FA Cup than we were supposed to, according to the board. So, if you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next episode, which will be a festive period fixture. So until then, see you later.